First of all, thank you so much for having me here. It's been a privilege and honor. I'm so grateful. I was born in Kerala, the southernmost tip of Indian Peninsular Coast, and I was born in a remote village. My dad was working as an engineer in State Power Department, and my mom was a housewife, and I'm the only child. Did schooling in 3 different villages in my state because my dad was, posted in different towns of the state. So we have to keep moving every 3 years, and then that kind of made me the feeling of being a nomadic at a very young age. The constant moving kept me that feeling of new perspective of life, even though it was within the state. So I could know what many people and many places. So it was much of a learning curve. I started, in fact, out of being home at the very young age of 15 to pursue my higher education. So at 15, I moved out of my home to the nearest city called Calicut, which is now known as Kozhikode, to continue my 11th and 12th grade. And then I did law. I went to law school and I finished my law graduation. And then somehow, instead of doing my practice in law, I had a sudden interest of doing a postgraduate degree in business management. So that's my story in the very beginning of life. And I got married to my own friend, a senior at law school. We were together in the law school and business school. And then we are slowly starting our life. One thing that I have to mention at this point of time was that while I was doing my 11th and 12th grade, I always wanted to go abroad. I didn't know where, because as a young girl living in the remote place in Kerala, I didn't even dare to dream to travel outside India. So it was kind of a dream. I would just look at the posters in my college, in the walls of my college, then I would see the pictures of universities, the kids roaming around, and those was kind of my inspiration to travel abroad. I didn't know it was Germany or UK or US. Of course, US was like a distant dream, but I kept dreaming, not knowing it would be possible or not. And then, so that story of traveling was in my back burner of my mind. And then as life progressed, me and my husband kept moving to another city in India, which is the financial capital of India, it's Mumbai. And we got a job there, we were taking life ahead, and then we had our son, our one and only kid. And what happened was that we had to move back again to southern India because my husband got transferred of his job. And then that was around 2011, and his company had this sudden opportunity to have him posted in looking after the business of US. And then one evening he's coming home and saying, "Do you want to travel to America?" And I said, like, what is happening? Is that true, or are you making me kind of, fooling me around? No, he said, no, our company is sending us, and then we are going to process the visa applications, and then hopefully if we get it approved, we are going to the US. So finally, I could see my dreams, taking its wings, because as you would know, that as a young girl, unmarried young girl, traveling to the US was kind of out of question. It was totally unthinkable. So my dream of traveling to the US as a graduate student or to go to university didn't happen, but I'm traveling as a family, so which made me even more happier. So in 2011, we began our process. The company began the process of the application of the US visa, and it took us 1 year to get the process clear. And by 2011, we finally landed here in Tacoma. And the story goes that I've heard of places like, as a history student, I've heard of places of New York, Washington, DC, Los Angeles, Detroit, all the big places, as the world would hear about. But Tacoma, no. I haven't ever heard of this place, and I was curious, like, what is this place about? We came to this place because the person whom my husband was replacing was originally from Tacoma. And the company had their branch in Tacoma, and that's why we finally got to land here. I wouldn't say arrived, but over a period of time, like maybe 6 months down the lane, I was like, as a newcomer to the city or to the country, I had this impression that America was all about milk and honey, and it was. But I was kind of feeling very sad or emotionally distressed to see people being alone, especially older people, which to my culture was not a thing which I would see in common, because we would live in common family or like an extended family, and I would see this elderly people living all by themselves, and it was kind of a shock to me. And I finally came to know that this was just a part of life here in the US, that elderly people live alone. I came into terms with that because I wouldn't have imagined, at least in my state, that I would have my dad or my mother or my uncle or my aunt living by themselves. They would always be living with their sons and grandsons and then take care of their grandchildren, being part of the extended family. So it was kind of a big cultural gap that I felt. So that took me to a shock. Like, I would still have feeling very worried of my father living alone. So I would put these elderly people into his shoes, and I would feel that how would they feel being alone. To be honestly, no. I didn't face any kind of discrimination anywhere, personally or from officially or anywhere. People were nice to me. I was nice to them. So I think it was a give and take. And I think I was very blessed, very grateful because everyone was so open to me, and they would always ask if you would need any help that they could offer. They would take me for a walk, or they would ride me if I need a ride to buy something, or just like anything they want. They were one or the other. They were always for me to make my life a little more comfortable. From my own neighbors, so I would think that now that I'm here, what can I do? Because all of their kindness, taken by their love and kindness to me, then I would think, what can I do to extend my love back to them? So the only thing I would offer my help is that I would cook them food to their likes. Spicy, non-spicy, I started with that. I would offer my cookings to my neighbors, and then slowly I would give to my friends, then to my son's teachers, and then it became famous that, I would cook something or the other for everyone. So that was my very first small engagement with the community. And then the apartment that I used to live had few of the elderly people. And then I would go and help them to buy if they had to buy some grocery or stuff, or take them around and walk with them, or just talk with them, or just send a text message how they're doing. And I would feel that made them, put them in comfort, and that they are being taken care of. And I still maintain that friendship. And everything I did on a personal basis, because I believe that, when you do a person-to-person basis, that really makes a difference, even if it's just one person. So the work visa laws says that a person can be here in the US to the maximum amount of years is 10 years, and we have capped that limit. So our visa is coming to an end in just another 5 days. So we have to exit the US and stay out of US for an year, and then apply the process again and wait for an year to come back if the application gets approved. So yes, we are moving out of the US to Canada and then apply for the work visa in 2022-23, and hopefully we can come back on the work visa by the year of 2023. That's my futuristic hope. I want to live here, but I want to obey the law. I don't want to be illegal immigrant. But I'm thankful that the country gave me the opportunity to have a different life altogether, which was like a dream came true. I am very grateful, and I look forward to coming back again and making this country and this beautiful place my home. And I would always say that Tacoma is a city of destiny, and I was just destined to be part of this beautiful city. It's easy to pinpoint and say that you're being discriminated, but you never think of the good things that you've been given to. So it's always easy, that's because of the human nature, to think about the negative things, the negative aspects of your life. But I would make a complete shift, take a 360-turn U-turn and say that this country helped me grow and learn as a person. I would not have learned so many things in my life had I not been in America. The amount of travel that I led, the amount of people, the amount of things I've learned, the food that I ate, the customs. Oh my God, Halloween, I never heard about that until I arrived here, and I found that it was such a fun way to interact with people with no age difference, because I went to door asking for candy, and I can't even imagine doing that in my village. I was there in people's doorstep asking for candy, so which was great. So yes, I am so thankful for the people's warmth of love, and they've taken me to their hearts and their homes, which I can never ever forget. And I can only return this love when they come back to India. I make sure that they are at home. And I can always keep that love, keep it forward for all the countries that I'm going to travel, because that's how I believe that we keep this circle going.